let's try and make a drawing of this rose leaf with the dewdrops. And here is a sketch, and I'm going to transfer it. I use a 6B, that's a very soft pencil, to transfer it to the drawing paper that I'm going to use. And this is just putting that very soft graphite on the back side of the sketch. So you will see me turning over this sheet of tracing paper. This is a picture that I took months ago. I think it was in the springtime. In our garden we have beautiful roses, and one of them is a yellow rose. And this leaf, this is the leaf that belongs to the yellow rose. And on that particular morning it had beautiful dewdrops. So let's see if we can learn something by coloring these dewdrops. But first transferring. I always take my time for the transferring, because when the sketch is correct, your drawing will look so much better. So I can highly recommend take your time for the sketching and tracing phase, really. So, and here I switched it and I taped it down with a little bit of washi tape. And this is a very hard pencil with a very fine tip, an Erogeton pencil. And the Erogeton pencils are hard pencils, and they are great for tracing because they are so precise with their very fine tip. That is why I like using the Erogeton pencils. So by tracing right now, the soft 6B graphite is now on the other side, on the back side of this sheet, and that will be transferred to the drawing paper. I've been wanting to do a video about coloring water, dewdrops, raindrops on the leaves for a long time, but there were so many other things that asked for videos, but now this is the time. And this great picture of this beautiful rose leaf was such an inspiration. So, there it is. Here is a 2H pencil. I'm going to trace again. Now you might think, is this really necessary? I think it is. This 2H pencil is a lot more precise and has a lighter tone to it than the 6B. So I'm going to trace all these lines again, and then I will use an eraser. Most of the time I use kneaded erasers to get rid of the excess amount of graphite that will be on the paper there. And this is a stage of the drawing that I do not particularly like doing. It is a bit tedious, a bit boring. But I've learned my lessons by not doing this. And the difference is so huge, really, that, you know, it's worth it. Here we go with the kneaded eraser. And let's take a look at the picture of the leaf. There is a red vein, there are red veins, and I think this Luminance pencil is just the right tone for it. So let's give it a try. It's a bright sunshine right now. Just using that very light touch again. And now I'm looking at that reference photo. It's always handy to have a reference photo. And you will see I'm tracing again, but right now with a red pencil. So the real coloring has not started yet. And this is what they say, colored pencil is a slow medium. So you need to have a little bit of patience for this medium. I'm just sketching now, very carefully, constantly looking at that picture. And again, I'm looking at that reference photo and I see, hey, there needs to be a red, some red. So this is the 4th or 5th time that I've been drawing these sawtooth lines there. First with making the first sketch and then putting on the soft graphite and then transferring it and then make it more precise. Here we have olive brown, 50%, a beautiful light green, yellow, brownish tone. Beautiful, look at that. Just lovely. Well, the fun begins. I'm using a Daler & Rowney paper this time, and that is quite a smooth paper. So it will not be able to handle as many layers as I maybe would like. But on the other hand, it speeds up the process a little bit. But also there's less room for mistakes. So I choose my colors. I choose my colors by looking at the reference photo and trying to get the colors as close as what I see on the reference photo. Of course, it would be even better to have the real leaf close by, but that was not the case. Maybe next time. If you want to join me in this tutorial, you can download a template of this leaf in my Etsy shop, and by downloading it you also support Passion for Pencils, and I'm very grateful for that. Just a couple of euros or dollars will help me immensely to keep up the good work of Passion for Pencils and creating more videos. I'm here looking closely again at the reference photo, and I can see there's a highlight just close to the main vein in the middle of the leaf. And here in the right top corner there is a huge highlight as well. So I keep that white, I leave that open, so in a later stadium I can work with that. Here I'm cross-hatching. I'm changing the direction of my pencil to get a better coverage, as you can see. You may hear something, some noise in the background, and that is a laptop blowing. I don't know what it's doing. Cooling? I don't know. Well, you may hear it. So these leaves are need a little bit of color too. As you can see, the sun is shining brightly. Very clear. This is the picture. So let's choose a color that could work for the highlights. And this is I'm thinking about using this one. Prismacolor Premier. You could also choose to leave it to leave the highlights without any color. But I'd like to see what happens if in this stage I add a touch of this very light color. Every dewdrop has its own highlights. I'm trying to put the highlights in. They are not exactly the shape that I see in the picture, but that will come later. Here we have earth green yellowish, beautiful tone from the Polychromos series. And in this stage it's really important to take a good look at the reference photo. And it's important that you color what you see and not what you know. And that is sometimes very difficult, especially when you draw or color or paint water, because water is translucent and we know water itself has no color. So you will see the color of the leaf through it. But in some places it is darker and in other places it is lighter. And I find it difficult to... I really need to take a good look where the lighter spots and the darker spots are. Yeah, I just love doing this. Cross-hatching, changing the direction of the pencil strokes. And look at that. If you are having difficulty finding that very light touch, then what you can do is keep your pencil more in an angle. That will diminish the pressure on the pencil tip, and you will get that soft looking look. So this is still the earth green yellowish, and I'm just following the contours of the leaf. Just take your time. This is almost an exercise in geduld. That is a Dutch word for patience. And in Germany they have the same word, geduld, but they pronounce it differently. Geduld. So this is what it looks like from another angle. I don't think I'm going to show you everything about just plain coloring that leaf, because this is about coloring those dewdrops. So I think I'm further in the tutorial I will do a little bit of work without you watching it. Ah, another beautiful green, moss green by Luminance. I have a book about botanical art, and it is written by a botanical artist who uses colored pencil, and she is using mainly Polychromos pencils because they have a great range of color for doing botanicals. The greens are really good. And besides Polychromos, she also uses the Luminance pencils, but she's not so fond of Luminance's green tones. And she also uses a couple of Prismacolor Premier pencils. Here I'm coloring the shadow that is being cast by that dewdrop. Who could imagine that plain clear water casts a shadow? Don't ask me how that works, but it does happen. It's physics, something with breaking of the light into a, light and a prisma. I'm sure you have had that in school many years ago, maybe. Here we have a Polychromos earth green yellowish. So I could have never have imagined that a clear water drop would cast a shadow. So if I would have colored this without the reference photo, I would never have guessed that there should be a shaded area, and then the end result would have felt not right for me, but I would not know why. And now with this reference photo I'm learning so much, because the next time that I do a dewdrop, maybe by heart without a reference photo, I know I need to cast a shadow somewhere. So this is teaching me a lot. This is the moss green again, because I've noticed that there is a darker spot on top of that of the dewdrop. That highlight doesn't look very good. It looks like ski glasses, the goggles of when you go skiing. So I need to change something about that. That's going to change. But not now. Let's add a little more darkness. Look at that, how a touch of darkness just helps to make this look so much more real. Very, very nice. This is a stage in coloring that I just love, that you see the magic happening. Just lovely. So let's take a look from up close. I'm just taking that very, very light touch. So, this is what it looks like. And actually it doesn't look bad. Let's add a little more color. Well, this is it for now. Let's continue the very fun drawing that I think this is. I am learning a lot, and as you can see, I've done a little bit of coloring while you were not watching. And here's the picture that I have of this, my reference photo of this rose leaf. And there's a lot that I need to do. Chromium green opaque. Let's continue the coloring. I did some sharpening. I need precision here. So I'm adding just the darker spots. And I'm continuously looking back to that reference photo. I'm looking back and forth, reference photo, my drawing, back to the reference photo, back to the drawing, to make it as precise as I possibly can, because that will just make my drawing better. And it turns out that underneath all those dewdrops there is a dark shadow, just a thin line. And with delicate work like this, Polychromos is the pencil I'm going for. Absolutely. It's such a joy using a Polychromos pencil when you have to do detailed work. This is one of my favorite greens, earth green yellowish. And let's see if I can sketch those highlights. I am using the lightest touch possible. Every time you see me holding my pencil still, that is a moment that I take a look at the reference photo. And a beautiful moss green, a lush, rich green tone from the Luminance Pencil series. And as long as you keep them with a sharp point, those Luminance pencils, they can do quite a bit of detailed work also. I hope you don't hear all the background noise. Here, this is green, earth green yellowish again. But there's a bird making noise in the garden, and there's a lot of traffic on the freeway, and the wind is towards the Passion for Pencils headquarters. So there's a background noise right now, but I hope it won't bother you. With a bit of luck, you won't hear it. With delicate work like this, I have found that I can concentrate for about 10 minutes and then I'm done. Then I need to take a break, or my eyes need to take a break. I don't know what it is, but after 10 to 13 minutes it's over. So I hit the pause button and I move on a while later. So I'm using 3 pencils, the earth green yellowish, the chromium green opaque, both from from the Polychromos pencils, and this one is the chromium green opaque, and the third one is moss green from the Luminance series. Look, when you take a step back, it's going to start to look better. Yeah, we're slowly getting there. I'm not there yet, that's for sure. Now the thing is, I'm not looking for an exact copy of the photo, but I want to make it look as good as possible. And here we have Caput Mortuum Violet. I'm going to add a little bit stronger red tones, because there are red tones in this leaf. And again, the Polychromos is doing just a great job right now. And here we have red violet. This pencil is a little bit more to the red side. The Caput Mortuum was a little bit brownish, and this one has a little more red in it. So let's add some of that red here as well. And I'm just adding a very thin layer of color because I think I will later use more red tones, just to make it look a little bit richer. But for now, this one is just perfect. I could, when this drawing is finished, I could put it in my nature journal. That would be a great place for it, I think. But I could also frame it. I'm not sure yet. And here is another color, permanent carmine. Because here on top of that leaf, where the twig is, there's a twig with some more leaves. There is a more brighter red visible on the picture, on the photo reference. So let's bring that brighter tone into the leaf as well, just to pull things together. It's very important. At least I think it's important. And here we have earth green yellowish again. And let's try a third dewdrop. Looking at that reference photo again. And this one is a little bit different from the others because the highlight is a little bit more to the left of this drop of water. And now I think I lost the highlight. But we have a solution for that. Here it comes. My Derwent electrical eraser. A must-have, I have to say. It's such a great tool. You cannot erase everything, but enough to just to blend everything back in. So I'm starting out on a different way right now. And I think that will work a little bit better from the outside in. And a lot of looking at that reference photo. A touch of moss green we're going to add. And a red tone, Caput Mortuum Violet, because there are tiny red veins visible in this dewdrop. It's some sort of a reflection of what is happening underneath the dewdrop. Now, when I'm coloring like this, a dewdrop like this, I need to keep in mind that I color what I see and not what I know. For example, I know that water is translucent, has no color. So that can be, and it works like some sort of, this is chromium green opaque again. It works like a prisma, so it breaks the light and it puts stuff in a different place. And that is what happens with those red veins. The red veins are there in the leaf, but because we look at the veins through the water drop, it looks like the veins are a slightly different place. Caput Mortuum Violet again. If I would place those veins where they are exactly, then that dewdrop would not look natural, because instinctively we know what dewdrops do. They break the light, they change the appearance of stuff a little bit. So it's important that I do exactly what I see and not what I know. So this is the result so far. I'm quite pleased, but I think I need to do a little bit more work because the highlights look a bit strange, but we'll get there. We'll definitely get there. So this was fun.